Hello everybody, Chris Michaelek here, coming to you with a quick video. A little casual today, I'm going to be honest, but I had some thoughts on my mind I wanted to get out because just had an interesting call with one of our vendors kind of discussing, they were getting us to look at, with our clients, where are the big pain points, and really got to thinking about it. And the thing that stuck out to me is how many conversations I've had with clients where their biggest issue is kind of where to get started as with cybersecurity. Like, what do we absolutely have to have? Because budgets are tight. COVID definitely affected a lot of businesses. We're seeing a recovery in certain areas, which is awesome, but there's still so many questions, still so much uncertainty. And ultimately, as a responsible business owner, manager, executive, your job is to spend your budget the absolute best way you can. So where I like to start is with an assessment, with just a cybersecurity assessment. Now, this can come in a couple of forms, but before I get to that, let me just tell you why you need this. I'm going to just give you a simple analogy. So suppose that you want to go to Paris, France. Obviously, this is assuming that COVID's not around and you can actually travel. But bear with me here. So that's what you want to do. Now, the problem is, if I ask you, well, okay, great, so where are you now? Chances are with cybersecurity, you're not going to necessarily know where you are. You might be able to say, hey, well, we have antivirus. I think we have backup somewhere. And, I know we've got this big fancy firewall that I have to pay every couple of years some renewal fee for. Maybe you've got an outside company that's managing certain things. But with a security assessment, that gives you a good idea of exactly where you are. And every organization, no matter how well run it is going to have little deficiencies, right? I mean, that's the whole point. We're always on a continuous improvement thing. But cybersecurity, much like a trip to Paris, is a journey. It's not something that you just get to and you're there and you're done. It takes time. And also, of course, it takes just continual investment because technology changes. And that's what frustrates a lot of business leaders, and I get it, right? Because you just want to be able to say, hey, look, just tell me what I need to spend on. If I can spend on this and I'm good. But then, a year or two down the road, something changes. Technology, there's this new vulnerability. There's this new service maybe you've added, some sort of cloud service, and that introduced a potential issue and you haven't remedied that. So start with an assessment to find out where you are and what is most pressing in your organization. So you might find out that, like, your email, you've got it secured with spam filtering. You've got two-factor turned on. You've got email encryption, and your employees are all using that. So email for you guys may not be a big deal. But then what about your local network or your servers? Oh, my servers are 8 years old. Oh, turns out we haven't patched them in a while. Or, oh, my backup system, turns out it doesn't replicate offsite like it was supposed to be. So that's a vulnerability. Or, our accounting system has to be exposed to the internet, but that's a big deal. These are the sorts of things that a security assessment can uncover. Now, there's really two types of security assessments. So there's a very basic one that we like to recommend that everybody just kind of start with. Typically takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours of somebody's time for us to kind of go through, ask some questions, compile it. After that, another hour or so of our time to go ahead and, actually put that into our little matrix, spit out some results, as well as some recommendations. But it's a real high-level thing. You're not going in depth. You're not checking absolutely everything. You're making some assumptions in some cases, maybe what you remember, what your IT director remembers about how things are set up. But it's still a good place to start. It's a rough idea. So going back to our Paris trip analogy, it would be like me asking where you are, and then you saying, I don't know. So we complete a basic assessment, and you're like, okay, I'm in North Carolina. All right, that's great, but we don't know. Are you close to an airport? Are you in a big metro area? Are you in Raleigh, Charlotte, Greensboro? Where the heck are you in North Carolina? But we've narrowed it down, right? I mean, we have the entire world that we started with, and now we've got just, one state. So that makes life easier. And then what you may look at doing is doing more robust cybersecurity assessment, and that's where typically, like for us, the way we approach those is we'll go ahead and put some software on the network, the devices, to do some scans, check for update statuses, some known vulnerabilities. Also just try to get a snapshot in time of what's on your network. because there's been just an explosion lately of devices on the network, from everything from Internet of Things, people bringing in their smartphones, tablets, maybe personal computers. And then, of course, we also have to take into account now with remote work, where are people connecting from and how are they connecting? Is that all secure? Because all it takes is just one insecure device, unfortunately, and your best laid plans of security can go away. So that's where you need to begin. This cybersecurity journey, and that truly is what it is, because it's never done, but you can certainly eliminate at any given moment most of your vulnerabilities. Begins with that assessment, knowing where you're at and getting a good idea. And so that first one's going to, again, for our Paris analogy, narrow down to a state. If you do like a full-blown cybersecurity assessment, it takes a few weeks, a lot of data is compiled, a lot of things are looked at. Those sorts of things then would narrow it down to, okay, I'm in this city. All right, so then you have a good idea. And any good security assessment should also take a look at physical security, because that's something that is easily neglected, especially as we look and work in these things. And we just kind of look at the technology piece and everything that's online. But physical is important too, because we still have the old-fashioned of somebody gets past your front desk, goes to your server closet, and installs something, takes something. It does happen. Obviously, in COVID times, a little less concerned because we've got maybe some more stringent protocols with people entering the office. But that sort of stuff's going to come back, and it still needs to be taken care of. So looking at that in a holistic way to make sure you're, most important, just know where you need to be spending and what you're already spending on, is it the absolute best? Because if you haven't looked at your cybersecurity in the last 12 months with so much that's changed with COVID just accelerating so many things, it's time to give that another look. So start with that security assessment, whether it's even just a basic one. A lot of organizations will give that for free, or it's more robust one. You're going to know. And then you're going to be able to start to take steps, again, to our analogy, to get to Paris, but in this case, to get your organization more secure. In another video, I'm going to talk about why the investment, because obviously no organization needs to just spend money because. So why would you take the time, the effort, and the expense to better secure your organization? We'll talk about that probably in the next video, as a matter of fact. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Chris Michael, I'm signing off here. I'll see you guys again in the next video. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon down there to go ahead and make sure that you're notified on all new videos when they come out, because I'm going to be dropping a whole lot of cybersecurity tips, tricks, things that I've picked up in my decades now of IT. And you're going to want to know that, so that way your organization can be protected, you can continue to be profitable, and be your most productive, and nothing's going to derail that, like some sort of cyber attack. Guys, thanks again so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys again in the next video.